Hi everyone, welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Mina Crichton. I'm the narrator of this video clip and all my other video clips on my YouTube channel. Like I said, I'll keep all the evidence in the moment because that is something I have to do for my own safety. My privacy's already gone historically, so the opposing allies have studied me for years, so I'm consistently up against cyber criminals, whether they're the public or whether they're people internally sabotaging everything. So before I actually go on to the actual topic, I'll just start off with an introduction. So basically, we're dealing with my personal property, my legal everything as far as identity, entity, my ideas, my intellectual property, life of a person, anything that's tangible property, the existence of a person on earth. So I'm dealing with my court cases. As you all know, I have been opposing the judgments made against myself because there are actually unlawful strikes, and also I'm just actually experimenting the New World Order and the system that involves the changes in the legislation, and it's completely different. So basically, I'm just going to go through all the evidence, but I do want to go over one of the memos in regards to the New Zealand Police. So I'll just carry on. Okay, guys, so we've definitely been monitored and surveillanced by I don't know who. I can confirm it's a global issue. Like, it's not, you can't really point a finger to a specific group of people because it's global. If what they've done to me historically has been a global game. They've used me for illegal Commonwealth games, and that's quite evidential on my personal property and also everything I've gone through in my court cases. And so I'm just going to update everybody in the moment, and it's really up to everyone to believe who is telling the truth, me or the opposing allies. So what I will be doing today is on my heart is I'm actually going to go over a memo that I think is relevant in regards to New Zealand police case. All right, it is definitely unlawful strikes. It's a left behind case, but just so you can get the picture for all of us that are probably now being monitored or surveillance, this is what it looks like. So all they're doing is just texting other people. I mean, the fact that I can go out and then, these criminal alliances are using their car, it's organized crime. Okay, it's definitely organized crime. It's illegal. Okay, so I get frustrated because I know that the consequences long term, it will end up where anything can happen in between, and I oppose the system for every reason, because of everything I have gone through personally. So the danger, it is global. So we got people globally that can actually spy on us, and that's quite very clear now. If you've been watching me on my video clips, and all they're doing is just texting each other. So it's quite obvious, who is, when things are natural or not natural. So it's not really hard for me to ascertain if somebody is there for the right reasons or not for the right reasons. However, no one should actually be stage stalking anyone, is what it's called. They call themselves shadow people. They actually do mean business. They're spying, they're watching. It's frustrating for me because they're glued. Basically glued to me, and I have found it pretty frustrating, but it is espionage. Okay, so this is what it looks like, a concealed individual. Okay, and the evidence will clearly show whether that concealed individual is a victim of crimes and being used for a pecuniary advantage. which I can actually personally disclose publicly, and that's why I believe I am within my rightful place to be doing what I'm doing. Because I'm basically trying to clear all the years of defamation and lies and people using me against my will. So it's a very serious criminal case. So all these things take place. I have not consented to it, but I'll go on to the next post. So legally, by law, it is a criminal case. They have used me like a generator, okay, like a human lottery, and that is what the evidence will show, because it contains a lot of people who have actually contempt of court or miscarriage of justice. For those that don't know what miscarriage of justice is, it's when people actually commit perjury internally, or people have used me for a pecuniary advantage, linking to people internally, like people in government, or serious perjury committed by those in public office. Okay, so they've basically taken away my New Zealand Bill of Rights and human rights, my liberty. So they've actually, other people have taken advantage of the fact of using me for relationship scams and animated or in anime, and have actually used me for an app or product. And for self-defense, I've actually been video recording my environment, because sometimes it gets hostile. The point of the matter is it shouldn't even be happening. It should not be happening, but it is. Okay, so I just recommend these movies here, because this here is actually really good to actually explain where I'm coming from. What I have gone through personally is almost like this program here, The Hunger Games. So if you don't know anything about this, just watch it. It's a kind of it's a game. So what I've going through is definitely a global sport. Okay, so there's no laws. The laws don't work. Unfortunately, that's been my experience. You're basically living in limbo. Okay, so everyone knows who you are, what you're all about. Why are they using you? But everyone is lying. Your environment is it's really dangerous. Okay, for those who have condoned these sort of system, they're just watching, relying on the surveillance or whatever. But for the victims that are actually trapped in it, it's very serious, very dangerous. You're actually pinned down, and it's all the in between, when you're dealing with other people or dealing with your personal property and or anything like that. You can easily be discriminated against, psychologically and mentally abused against. You can lose everything. You can lose your assets. But it is like this game, because I believe this is a good way of actually describing what it's like, this new world order system that I've been subject to. It is like Hunger Game, and this is where the relationships come in. They're actually into steal. Okay, so the stealing is real, and they are already locked in your space, but somebody has to be telling them where to go, what to do in advance, because obviously that no one is that what I'm trying to say is that it's not natural, and for anything that's premeditated, somebody has to initiate it. Okay, this here is a good one too. I feel is a good way to explain of what it actually, this young boy here locked out and in prison. It's a very sad story, but it's exactly what this new age system they've gone through. People are eventually eliminated. Okay, so I've had all that kind of thing going on within what I've gone through personally alone. I have felt the opposing imposters or whoever's behind it, their motive and intent is to eliminate me like I don't exist. But it's a real life game. They're using the call centers, they're using hub desks, and we're basically locked out. Even when you go to the call center and make an appointment, We don't get to actually talk to anybody that's legally will take we're dealing with all inexperienced people that's being micromanaged by whoever is their manager. Their idea is to never get people to escape and have justice or whatever. Okay, so read your circumstances correctly, but these here is definitely a good way to actually get into your mindset of what I've gone through personally, where people are actually locked out globally, or you can get murdered, disappear, anything like that. It's not a safe system, right? Okay, part of the game, I've had the opposing allies threaten to burn down the building. So they actually do come out with fire engines. And I've known that their reasoning has not been a good reasoning. But these are the kind of psychological abuse that I'm getting indirectly. They know I'm by myself, so everything is all well premeditated in my path, or they're using their jobs. They are digging up road works and stuff. They're actually acting out their motive and intent, so they are using their jobs. So these are the kind of things you need to look out for. But to make threats like that, threaten to attempt to burn a place down or anything like that, it has the penalty of 10 years imprisonment. Okay, so the best way to find out is actually make complaints and find out why these people are even in that place, and that's how investigators find out. They've like for everything, why people are using their jobs, or their vehicles or whatever. They can find out whether that person is supposed to be there for the right reasons or not. But threats, anything to like threatening to burn a place down, it's still an offence, and this is actually law. Okay, it's 10 years imprisonment, and I've had these kind of threats from the opposing allies. Everyone knows that the opposing allies is the Crown, or I don't know, it's heaps of people, I don't know, but these are the kind of threats that I'm going through. Right, so we're dealing with imposters. Okay, it's so dangerous. Words can't describe how dangerous it is, but it is very, very, very dangerous. But an imposter can be anybody. Anyone can be an imposter to be a police. Anybody can be an imposter. The phone, when we call on the phone, we could be talking straight to an imposter, and I know without a shadow of doubt that has happened. I've spoken to people on the phone, and I've just known straight away that they are actually not really who they say they are. So they are using the call center. The phone calls are diverted. It can be actually diverted straight to a gang or whatever. Okay, so these are the kind of things I've gone through personally, and I've known all I could do is ring the police to investigate, and they're hacking. They're even hacking into my emails, deleting evidence. When I go and do my court cases, they're actually deleting evidence because, obviously they know, the evidence that I've submitted to court. So they've gone into my emails and have actually deleted stuff. But all that is retrievable. The professional, people who do investigate, they can find out who's doing it. But yeah, these are the kind of things I've gone through. I've rung the police to make complaints, and they have no intentions of investigating because we're dealing with internal corruption. Okay, it's a trafficking ring by force, obviously. Okay, so it's also a case of an individual being exploited. Okay, guys, they are coding, all right? I got a bit stressful today. I had a very stressful day. I had had an application that was being granted to me. I went through the normal process. It was granted all for the right reasons. Passed, the criteria for what I was supposed to, what my application was being granted for. But these are the kind of things I'm going through, and it's intentional. So everybody behind the corporate bodies making those decisions and playing games with my life can all be investigated. but they have not given me the respect to respect my privacy, as far as giving me a case officer. I don't have a case officer, even though I asked for one when I first had to go on WINS because of what I was going through in the beginning, and they refused to do that. So they've deliberately kept my life exploited. Okay, so everyone knows about me, and so everyone's just taken turns using me like an app, or to promote, or for relationship scams to get their foot in the door to certain things. I've made applications, and then they've given it to somebody else. So this is what I've been used for historically. It is 100% illegal, and any corporate body that, if a proper investigation is taken, is done, everyone will get charged for doing that, okay? Because the laws do not support any kind of trafficking ring, or anything that I've gone through. Unfortunate reality is it is white collar crimes involved, anything to do with money. I know that in my case, a lot of people within my personal property have actually stolen off me, and some of them have been white collar crimes criminals. This system has allowed them to do that by using other people. They've used the call center to block and get away with some pretty serious offences until the right people actually arrest them. So that's a kind of contempt of court, or contempt crimes that has happened, or miscarriage of justice. These are the kind of crimes that people have actually used me for, by using their occupation illegally and then getting caught. Alright guys, I'm from the old court system, but what we're dealing with is actually the new age technology system. Okay, so I'm old school. I do everything myself. It's just my culture, and also I've always been an independent professional woman, also independent also as a single parent. So I've actually had to do everything myself, but it is actually a very serious, dangerous system. Now anyone that is single, is actually in danger, because we got all these other perpetrators, who want to take advantage of an individual and then use them for money laundering purposes, relationship scams. That's what everyone has used me for without my consent. Okay, so the opposing ally is glued to me, but their motive and intent is real, right? They call themselves shadow people, and this is why I'm getting people stalking me or in my space and acting. It's diminishing though, guys. So congratulations to those who are actually doing their job, or they probably got scared when they realized that I'm not actually joking. All right, because I've gone public with my court case because I've had to. But it is a real life global game, linking to the government in different states, unfortunately. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm keeping my evidence hardcore real. I'm actually the victim of crimes. I'm not the ogre or anything like that, but defamation has definitely ruined my reputation secretly, and I've had so many serious things happening within my space. But it is intentional, and it's definitely war crimes against myself and them. So they're warring against me, and I'm opposing them still in the court cases. Obviously, they don't want anything to legally be confirmed, but I know that I'm within my right to do what I'm doing. All right, guys, we're dealing with internal corruption, MIQ. It's called micromanaging in that. I am actually going through a black market or blacklisted system. I'm definitely trapped. Okay, So don't ignore the signs. Just, it's not you. It is real. It's happening. But the decisions you make in the middle or in between, your life will depend on it. Okay, guys. So definitely, where's Wally? I am definitely an exploited victim for a very long time. Okay, and it's still not easy for me to accept it, because I don't accept that it's wrong, and it's not normal. Although, that is what I've been used for. But these people, because they're doing things that I know that is not, the acts that they're doing is organised, they're actually, according to the law, they're called criminal nuisance, and the penalty is 1 year imprisonment. Or it is also known as harassment. I did try and get harassment orders out on some people in body corporate to protect my family, but the courts sabotaged that too. Okay, so everything's intentional. I feel like everyone is ganging up on me, but it's not only that. It's just so dangerous and so frustrating. Okay, so anything to do with court that is fraud, it is perjury. 14 years imprisonment, it is. So I know that some people in government has gotten into trouble with what they've done to me, but everything when the rich people, they use their money in the law to protect them. The old system, the victims are notified, or they know that that an offender's committed an offence, but they've left me in limbo. They've left me in limbo to survive and fight for myself, while other people secretly continue to steal off me and trying to make me kill myself, or have even tried to kill me. So basically, we're dealing with crimes against the person, crimes against the property. This is why I'm still doing my court cases, because I'm dealing with my personal property, which is my profile. My court case is definitely my personal property. So I will just actually go on to a minute that I feel that is actually relevant for the New Zealand police case. All right, so is this on? Yeah, it is on. Okay, New Zealand police case. The last video clip I put up, I've actually disclosed Judge Sussex judgment. Okay, I'm contesting that. I've already written in a minute, and I've basically let know all the parties, because a lot of things she written on there, it's actually easy for me to actually appeal, or it's actually criminal charges. I'd rather it go through the criminal jurisdiction. I'm just so over it, but I'm just going with the process. Okay, so Judge Lester, the New Zealand Police statement of claim was first lodged on the 9th of it was first lodged on the 21st of December 2020. I'm just trying to think of the year. 2022, is that long ago, for a judicial review with the Ministry of Health and City Med case and some other corporate body cases. So I've actually asked the court registrar at the time, or the case officer, if all those cases ride together, because the law clearly says they can. When I was researching it can, and common sense is they should ride together. But instead, he didn't do anything I said. The courts sabotaged my case and split my cases up. And oh goodness, it's just been a terrible mess. But it's all intentional, and that's quite obvious. But Judge Lester actually sent out a minute, okay? So I thought I will actually go over that minute. This is my template. I keep records of everything in Excel, okay? I'm pretty efficient. I'm quite glad I have this system going, because then I can always go back and have a look and backtrack, and I remember everything quite clearly. But yeah. Okay. My case is definitely be I thought I'd go over this because, in between I've had to deal with all the other cases. There's a total of 6 cases that I've been litigating by myself for, one Ministry of Health and City Med and so forth, going on for like 19 years, or well, it's 9 years for sure. But I am not giving up. It's now, definitely it's going to go through the criminal process, which I'm going through right now. So what is actually happening is I thought I'll go over the memo to do with Judge Lester. Okay, so Judge Lester actually picked up the file, or the fault is actually with the courts. Okay, the court registrars are at fault with the file, but the judge, the case was referred to the judge, and then judge sent out a minute on this date. So this is the minute Judge Sussex is talking about, and this is the minute I feel that I will disclose publicly for everyone who's interested in my case, and for also it is definitely a criminal case, a public interest global case, because they've used me secretly globally without my consent. So this minute is the minute for New Zealand Police and IPCA. However, the judges only got here New Zealand Police, even though the case was definitely, the statement of claim is they're jointly charged on the actual statement of claim dated, when was it dated? 20, let's see, I need to get the right date correctly. Okay, 9th of February 2023, here it is, it was filed. So the ministry, the case officers didn't file all my files together. Instead, they split the file up. Okay, so they've caused me intentional, stress and everything, but everything is intentional. And instead I'm the victim of crimes, but instead they've got, the Crown, the government. So those that don't know who the Crown is actually their government. They're the state. So it's either Labour or National. But if you watch some of my other video clips way back, and if I find it, I'll put it on Facebook. I actually disclosed that it's been like a war crime thing. Like I've been used by both National and Labour. So both National and Labour definitely are involved with what's going on with me personally, going back when I was working for my employer. Okay, so it's quite a serious case, and this is where I didn't realise that they were actually inciting and coding me until I actually was kicked out or pushed out of my job. Okay, so I was derailed from my job. For those that are new on board, it's a cybercrime, cyberbullying. Okay, so it is definitely a trafficking ring. Okay, it's a different type, but this is what you call trafficking in persons, and then they turned it into like an illegal Commonwealth game, obviously for covering up and using someone for games. So, but the courts did not actually officially file the documents until the 9th of February 2023. So if I go into my Excel, this is my Excel. Okay, so I just put here. So this here is Sharik Ali was actually the case officer for all of them, but then he gave them to other case officers. So I'm going through the same thing with all the other cases, different case officers, and they're just shifting everything. But this is the case officer for this case, and his name is Toa Peteru, and then Annie Kim. So they've, I've written a list, and I've told the judge that the New Zealand Police have actually had I think totally 6, if you watch my last video clip on the New Zealand Police, I think about 6 or 7 case officers, but that's not including other people in between. Okay, and no one seems to know anything. They've treated me like they've really treated my case like I'm invisible, or like, you know, that's why they've my everything is mixed matched. So these are just my records that I keep myself for this case at this point of time. Okay, so what's happened is, as you notice, if you can see here, there's only one, the judge's minute, Judge Lester's minute, it's only got New Zealand Police, but it doesn't have IPCA. When I had a meeting with Ann Kimmy, I told her that it's jointly charged, it's on the statement of claim, and Judge had actually written in this minute that they needed to be allocated a counsel, because that's not my job, that's the court's job, okay? That's for the case officers to do when the judge gives direction. It's not for me to actually go and find out who their counsel is. The courts actually have to allocate a counsel. They have to actually contact the counsel and find someone to, take over the case, okay? So this is what Judge wrote, and I'm just going to go through it slowly so you can all just read it for yourself. I won't read it. But see, Judge did acknowledge the New Independent Police Independent Police Conduct Authority, and he's written the attention of then Chair Judge Doherty. I'd actually had an affidavit drafted up and letting them know that they've been served. I actually written an attention Judge Doherty. There were actually emails, correspondence, okay? But I've had people deleting evidence linking to all the emails I'd had at that point of time with independent police conduct. So they did get that. They did get it. I sent it by post. But Judge has actually acknowledged, that he's actually cited Independent Police Conduct Authority. And somebody actually said they didn't know at the counter when I said, well, it should be 2 joined together, and that's Independent Police Conduct Authority and New Zealand Police, just like Ministry of Health was joined together with City Med. Okay, there was a reason I did that, because both parties were, they linked together in regards to the incidents and the complaints that I actually is the evidence in this matter. Okay, so the judge has actually acknowledged that here. So I'm just going to go through it. So judge actually gave an order that unless the plaintiff files within 10 days, working days, proof that this proceeding was served on the New Zealand Police, and the proceeding at that point of time. Well, he hasn't mentioned IPCA, but he has mentioned it there. So that falls on the court, because clearly the statement of claim, judge would have to read it. And on the statement of claim, it clearly says IPCA and New Zealand Police. So somebody must have retyped and gave judge something else. Let's just see if I can find that statement of claim quickly. All right, guys, I found it quickly. But just to show, I did do that. There you go, right there. I just found it. Okay. I did put it together, and they were served, and judges actually acknowledged the affidavit. That is what the judge is actually talking about. But so the evidence that I actually disclosed in front of at the hearing for the New Zealand Police is basically the same evidence, incidents. The council has definitely been allocated in the last little while, and I've received her email when on the 14th of May. Okay, judges actually responded to that. I am going to respond to it, but the evidence is exactly the same as New Zealand Police, and they have actually perverted the course of justice. I've actually asked the judge with my last correspondence that I do want the what do you call it? The transcript, because I'm entitled to it. It's mine. It's to do with me and my court cases. And I've also submitted what actually gives me that right to it. Personally, everyone, I find this case, what everyone's doing to me, very offensive, very wrong, and very illegal. So it's been a game. Okay, so everything they've said about me, it's a new age game, it's a sport. So they're getting a kick out of, watching another person or innocent civilian suffer. Okay, they are using their jobs. So I'm really upset because, I can't go forward. I've done everything, even while I'm working, doing my court cases, and I try, I've even done things to try and get myself to go forward and start up my business, but they're stealing everything. They're literally stealing, and they think it's funny. And then they're declining stuff, and they're actually mocking me. But that is why my case is definitely a Category 4 case of conspiracy by corporate bodies involving their government and people in public office. Okay, so it's a massive joke to them. They think it's funny. I don't think it's funny. It is a trafficking ring, but it's a real life game, everyone. So I'll just keep everyone up to date. So I'm just going to go on my Facebook page. They're in the mix. Okay, I usually update what I feel is on my heart at the when I put posts or whatever. This is what I'm up against, and these are the people representing these people on behalf of, and they're inciting and coding everyone. Okay, so it's definitely warlike games, but they are the bullies. They're in my space bullying me. They're the bullies and the cowards. Okay, because that's illegal what they're doing, absolutely illegal. So it's basically my truth versus their lies. And so we get all these busybodies breaking the law, trying to find out the truth, versus what the public has been deceived about. I still stand by my truth today, and I'm entitled to a private life. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on. Let's see. But they this is the kind of things that they like to let me know. It's what serial cyber criminals are doing with their game, gluing people. They're committing pretty serious crimes, and then they're helping each other escape. That's what they're doing. Honestly, these people are honestly mentally warped in the head. I'm just giggling because some of their sound effects is so disgusting. It's repulsive. Some of these sound effects is pretty repulsive. I'm not joking. But I recommend you guys watch this movie. Okay, it's actually got a good theme. Okay, it's obviously talking about before the years of technology, but there's a bit of a reality in some of the movies that I recommend people to watch, comparison to the technology system. But basically it's just the warlike, the barbaric of some of these cultures. They are savage. Okay, there's savagery. What they've done to me is savagery. It's barbaric. But just compare that to what this generation. So learn to read your circumstances correctly. Some of these people's beliefs and culture, they try and force their beliefs and their cultures on other people by using their jobs and using the technologies. That's what I've gone through. and then they actually exile people eventually, and then they try and kill them, without people knowing. Okay, so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing every day, because I have to. Even if you read some of the judgments, some of the language used on the judgments, it's not even like, for those that are old school like me and well educated and can actually understand English proper English, or even understand the legal terminologies of why we have laws and what they actually mean. There's clues in their judgments that's linked to all the serial coding. Okay, it's a evil, sadistic spirit that I'm glued to, but it's very barbaric, and their motive and intent is to destroy and kill. Whichever way they'll do it to take over. Okay, so they are targeting specific people, but it's a game. Okay, they're doing it for the thrill because they think they can get away with it, but it's quite serious. It's not a joke. Right, this is today's recording. This is me going out. Okay, so I've talked on it, like I've noticed it hardly come out because they know I'm recording, which is a good sign. I know it's working. Goes to show what bunch of cowards. Sorry, I just can't help but laugh. I can't stand bullies. But they do colour code everything. But their motive and intent is evil. They're not there because they're looking out for you or they care about you or that somebody's actually given them permission to do it. They're actually breaking the law. It's organised crime. Okay? So this is just me walking out for my day. And I'm just going to go. But it's hardly anyone. So it tells me it's working. My social media platform is working. They're scared, obviously. Because it is definitely, everything I'm talking about is real. I'm not joking, but I've had to do this for self-defense because I ring the police. They put you on hold. They've hung up on me. So this is just me going out my day. You can notice it's hardly anyone because they know I'm recording, so it's working. I'm really happy about that. But I can just say, I just know. Let's just say I just know when an even car's being used. I just know. But we all know what a van represents. Okay, obviously Amy Denton.
Okay,
and
this is part of the game.
See?
We all know who that is. Amy Denton, Chuck.
Yeah.
Are recording everything.
See, all these trucks, it's all part of the game. That's illegal. Okay? And that's not fair. I'm a single female. I'm trying to go forward like any decent human being, but they're stealing off me. And then they're inciting, I started exposing my government with their video clips because I've had to. Because this is why the alliances are in your space, because they're inciting. They're inciting to ask people to help them cheat in their court cases. Right?
Sometimes I have found in this game I've been subject to, for those that are watching me, I'll put this on my YouTube.
See that girl there with the hair plaited? That she's part of it. I can just tell. And they're watching. They think it's funny. I don't. Okay. All right, I think I'm finished.